Hey everyone, Shannon Smith with ClubMoFu here. How are you? I'm so excited to be coming to you with a great new video for our members, of course. This is all about how to set up your TD Ameritrade account. And several members have asked us for this, and they just kind of want that little bit of a walkthrough that you don't get when you try to do an account on your own. So we are here to provide that for you. Again, this is Shannon with ClubMoFu. Let me tell you why I'm the right person to train you how to do this. I've been a member of ClubMoFu Investments and part of the ClubMoFu company since its inception in 2017, and I've served as both the secretary and the cash cow manager. That's a fancy word for treasurer since that beginning time as well. So I've helped a lot of new members on board. I've helped a lot of new members get their account set up, answered a lot of questions about it, and I am excited to be here tonight to show you how easy it is. You should be able to set up your ClubMoFu account in less than 15 minutes. I'm going to do my best to keep this video under 15 minutes just to show you how easy it is. So there's a couple things you need to do before we get started. First of all, I want you to make sure you know your social security number. I want you to have a driver's license or passport on hand because you'll need that to prove your identification. You'll also need to have your employer's name and address. If you are not employed outside the home, there's a spot for that too, so no worries. And you'll also want to get your bank account information ready. That's your routing number and your account number, both of which can be found on your checks. So grab all that stuff. If you don't have it in front of you, go ahead and just press pause right now. I'll wait right here. And then as soon as you come back, we'll get started. In the meantime, for those of you that are ready to go ahead and let this video run. I'm going to share my screen and we are going to get you going. All right, one sec, bear with me here. Let's see. All right, so like I said, I've been with ClubMoFu since the beginning. I have really enjoyed all that I've learned. I take TD Ameritrade trainings for fun, believe it or not, because I've learned so much. All right, you should be able to see my full screen now. Hopefully you'll have no problems. Again, this training is setting up your TD Ameritrade account with ClubMoFu with your lovely host, Shannon Smith, right here. Let's get started. All right, here's our first piece of important information. Make sure you're in a secure spot. That means don't be setting up your account at Starbucks. The Wi-Fi is just not secure there. Go ahead and go to this website address. You can open up the TD Ameritrade page in any browser, Safari, Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, whatever works for you. Make sure you type in that web address up there. I want you to actually type in www.tdameritrade.com. And the reason being is I don't want you to Google it and get sucked into a weird spam page. All right, so go ahead and type that in there. Make sure your screen looks like mine. It's not going to look exactly like mine because TD Ameritrade does change that front screen from time to time with their new promotions, but overall it should look very similar and your web address at the top should be the same as mine. Next, you're going to go over here and see this link where it says Open New Account. That is going to be our next button, but before you do that, I just want to point out, after your account is created, you are going to use this little box right here for the user ID and the login and the password to log in the future, okay? So in the meantime, let's go ahead back up to that link that I mentioned and click Open New Account. That's going to bring you to this screen right here, and it's going to ask you what type of account you want. Well, in ClubMoFu, we encourage everyone, well, everyone has their own individual account. So we don't provide financial advice such as this, but we do encourage all of our members to get that individual brokerage. That's what we all do. So go ahead and click individual brokerage. It'll tell you a little bit about it. And then you can click that green button that says open an individual account. All right, now is the fun part. We are going to get started on opening your account with all our information here. Let's zoom in and see what this says. All right, so the first piece is whether or not you already have a TD Ameritrade or paper money account. You can say yes or no. It just changes how your application goes. We are assuming you don't, so go ahead and leave that at no. First bit of information is going to be your name. They're going to want to know your first and your last name. All right, and then as you scroll down, the next thing they're going to ask for is an email that you use regularly. Make sure and put in a valid email. Do not put in the email that you only check once a month. TD Ameritrade is going to start sending you information right away, and you're going to need to access that information easily. Make sure it's an account that you use regularly. Next, they're going to ask you to read their privacy statement, and after you have done that, go ahead and click that little box, and it's going to light up the Continue to Personal Information button, which is going to get us onto this page. All right, this is going to be a little bit more about where you live and who you are. So we're going to start off with your street address. All right, this is the address where you physically live. If you live in one place, but you have your mail sent to a P.O. box, for example, go ahead and click this little box right here at the middle. It's going to drop down a second little area for you to add in your mailing address if it's different than where you physically live. Okay? As you scroll down, it's going to next ask you for your date of birth. It's also going to ask you about your citizenship. Like I said before, I'm kind of assuming we're all citizens, so I'm going to leave that the way it is. And then it's going to ask you for your social security number. Make sure you put in your accurate social security, not someone else's, because they do match that up before they approve your application. And then finally, it's going to ask how you use this account or how you're planning to use this account. Those of us that have been part of ClubMoFu since the beginning, we know that we are not in this to make money tomorrow or even necessarily a month from now. Sometimes it happens, but we don't assume that it will. This is a long-term plan for us, so we do have that first option checked there. All right, and then you're going to go ahead and say continue to financial information. This one is a little bit of a long form, as you can see. So let's scroll in and get started. The first thing, sorry if that's a little fuzzy, the first thing they're going to want to know is about your employment information. If you are not employed outside the home, or if you are not an entrepreneur, go ahead and select homemaker or whatever option applies to you. By selecting that, it won't ask you for an address for your employer. Any of the other options typically ask for some type of employment information. Okay? Next, it's going to ask about your financial information. This is your annual income, what your liquid net worth is, what source of funding you're going to use for your account. Answer those the way that you believe you should answer them and to the best of your ability. Again, this is not going to stop you from getting an account. This is just really more for their marketing purposes, to be honest. All right, as we're scrolling down here, it's going to ask you about your affiliations. This is one of the most frequently asked questions is what the heck does that mean? I'm not affiliated with anybody. Well, sometimes people do have other family members that maybe sit on the board of directors for a company or sit on, maybe they own more than 10% of the company, something like that. That's totally fine. Again, this is not about whether or not you get to open an account. It has more to do with A, marketing, and B, there are some reporting rules that are required for financial institutions. That's just a piece of it, okay? So don't get discouraged if one of these applies to you. Just answer honestly. It has more to do with taxes probably than anything else. And then finally down there, the sweep of uninvested cash. This just means where do you want them to put your money when you're not using it? If you are not investing 100% of what's in your portfolio and you have some cash sitting there, it does earn a very small amount of interest while it sits there, but they want to know where do you want it kept. FDIC and SIPC are very similar for all, for most people. It just has to do with that insurance piece, just like your bank has. So choose whichever one makes sense to you. FDIC is the very first one on the list, and that one's fine. All right, go ahead and scroll down. There's a couple links there that you'll be able to see. If you want to click on those and read them, you certainly can. Otherwise, go ahead and continue with your application. Click that little green button, whoops, sorry, at the bottom there. All right, the next screen is going to take you to a review of the information you've entered. This is where you double check. Did I spell my name right? Did I have my social security accurate? Is my contact information correct? As you can see, like my name is in there as S. Demith. That's not even how you spell it. So I would go in there and I would edit that and I would fix my name so that it would accurately reflect who I am. Make sure your date of birth is accurate. All that information is important. Okay? As soon as you have corrected anything that might be wrong, go ahead and click continue at the bottom. All right, let's talk about a little fine print. Okay, this one, It's going to start with the electronic delivery of documents. These are just documents that are related to having a TD Ameritrade account. Things like your handbook, your client agreement, forms like that. You can certainly elect to receive them electronically. However, if you would rather receive a hard copy, all you have to do is unclick that little box right there that I'm pointing to. The default is that it will be clicked and that you'll receive them electronically. But again, if you want TD Ameritrade to physically mail them to you, you can unclick it. All right, next is your IRS Form W-9 certification, saying that you are the correct taxpayer and it is who you say you are. And then you have to declare whether or not you're subject to backup withholding. And then you have to check the box saying that you have certified the accuracy of your information for IRS forms. All right. As you scroll down, it's going to come down specifically to the TD Ameritrade client agreement. And again, it says before we open your account, you must read and electronically sign the TD Ameritrade client agreement. And if you do not agree with it, or you find any part of it unacceptable, you shouldn't open your account at this time. It is extremely standard in terms of the information that's in the client agreement. However, with anything legal, I do encourage you to read it before you sign it. Once you have read it and signed it, there is a little click button right down there at the bottom that you will click and press continue. All right, you guys, we're almost there. Okay, here is where you're setting up your login. Do you see how fast this has gone? Like really, it's not taking any time at all. So here's the next part. You're gonna set up your login. You're gonna create your user ID. Make sure it's something unique. I encourage you to use something that you don't use for everything else. Like do not use the same username that you have for your email address and maybe your, some type of random website and maybe your Amazon account. Use something specific to TD Ameritrade. It's connected to your bank. You don't want to accidentally have it fall into the wrong hands. Your user ID does have to be 8 to 15 characters long, so be thoughtful about that. And it has to include at least one letter. It cannot have any special characters. So that means no percentage signs, no dollar signs, no pound signs, no ampersands. Okay? So you're going to create your user ID. You're going to then create your password. Same type of deal. 8 to 54 characters. Super long passwords are allowed. You have to include at least one letter. You have to include at least one number. And it has to be different from your user ID. So again, very standard from the standpoint of the expectations of your password, but use something that's unique that not everybody will know. So you're going to enter that password. You're going to enter it again to make sure that you have it correct and it is case sensitive. And then lastly, on this part of the page, you're going to enter your mother's maiden name. And again, this is a part of the security process for when you call in if you need help. That's one way they will verify your identity. As you scroll down, you're going to go ahead and set up your security questions. And these are going to be, there's a variety of things to choose from, like what is your high school team mascot? Who was the best man at your wedding? What is the name of your oldest niece? Some of these are the questions that you're going to be able to choose from, and you're going to be able to put your answers there. You will not have to make these case sensitive. So if your youngest niece, if her name is Juliet, you do not have to say capital J, U-L-I-E-T. You can just type in Juliet with a lowercase. It doesn't matter. Okay? Oh my gosh. This part's done, you guys. So go ahead and fill this out. Then press submit. And we're going to talk about funding your account. Okay? So if you need a second to finish all of your account building requirements, your signatures, your privacy agreements, your passwords, stuff like that, go ahead and press pause right now. This is a great time. Get that piece done and then come back. And then we're going to talk about funding your account. For those of you that are already ahead of me, here we go. So funding your account is the next part of creating a TD Ameritrade account. And you are going to set up a one-time transfer. A lot of people ask us, well, how much money do I really need? Like, don't I need $5,000? No, oh my gosh, 50 bucks. 50 bucks is all you need to set up a TD Ameritrade account. Very easy. And it's a one-time deposit of 50 bucks is all that's required to get you started. The fastest way to do that is through ACH, which is electronically through your bank. So that's what we're going to talk about. All right. So the first thing you're going to tell them is how much money you're going to transfer. And again, it's up to you. The minimum amount is $50. If you want to put in $150, if you want to put $1,500, whatever makes sense to you. Make sure this is money that it's okay if you lose, because the stock market is volatile. We don't invest money that we would be saving for the mortgage. We invest the money that we have to play with. All right, so go ahead and choose what type of bank you're going to be transferring from, and then put in the amount that you're going to be depositing this first time. As you scroll down on this page, excuse me, you're going to need to enter your routing number. That's that bottom left hand, normally, number on your check. From your bank, you can get this. You can go right on their website. Most banks do put the routing number right on their website in case you don't have checks. Otherwise, you can use your checks that you would write and pay bills from. You can get the routing number from there. And then same thing with your account number. You're going to enter the routing number and the account number twice just to make sure you did it correctly. Then you're going to enter your bank name, the city that it's located, and this should be on your bank. If it's not, enter the name of the branch that you go to, the state where it's located. And again, if your bank is national, like say Wells Fargo, enter the city and the state where you go to bank, and that's fine. And then set up a nickname for your account. Maybe it's your Mad Money, maybe it's Shannon's Stash, whatever makes sense for you to nickname that account that you're going to be pulling money from. You're going to press continue. It's going to ask you how you want to fund it. It says as little as 30 minutes. There are some restrictions there. But again, this express funding is the easiest way to do it. It's an electronic transfer from your bank, and you're going to press continue. And one of the things that's going to happen is they're going to verify your bank and do those 2 little baby deposits a lot of times. Like they'll put in like 1 cent and then 7 cents, and they'll ask you to log into your account and verify the amounts that were deposited. Okay, so that is something that you need to do as well. Be watching for emails about that, because if it happens, they'll send you an email requesting you to go in and verify those amounts. That is it. Like, seriously, that's it. You're going, well, wait, we have more screens. We do. Let me show you one other thing. If you stop your funding and you have to leave or whatever, and you're like, oh man, I can't go back to that screen. I can't find it, where it says you maybe clicked the save and finish later. That's totally okay. Here's how you're going to fix this problem. Log into your account. Go back to that very first screen I showed you where the username and the password is. Use that information that you already created to log in right there. And you're going to come to this screen. This is like a zoomed in version of the screen, but this is the screen you're going to come to. All right, you're going to click the My Account button, and this little window is going to drop down. And then you're going to go over here to this column. You're just going to use your mouse to move over to this column where it says Deposits and Transfers. And you're going to click on Account Bank Connections. So it will bring you to this page. If you, for any reason, couldn't finish it in your previous session, this is where you're going to do it. You're just going to say Connect Now. You're going to put in your banking information, and it's going to connect to your bank from this screen. And then you're going to be ready to invest. As soon as your money is verified, you are ready to invest. Are you excited? I am so excited for you. I am so happy you joined us here. I hope this was really helpful. If you have more questions, please feel free to email me at clubmofu.helpdesk@gmail.com. That's ClubMoFuHelpdesk@gmail.com. Have a great rest of your night, and I really look forward to catching up with you in the future. See you in the next video. Bye.